Hi everyone, back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. A funny one, this one, really, kind of a rant and also just a question, really. I'm just wondering what on earth is going on with Lewis Hall. I was really excited when we signed Lewis Hall in the summer on loan from Chelsea with a view to make it permanent. At the minute, I'm not even sure if we're going to make it permanent. To be honest with you, you can't get a sniff, the lad, to be honest. And I've just got some real questions about the whole situation, and I don't really understand what's going on. So I just want to get on here and air my thoughts, which is very therapeutic, as it always is for me. So I get stuck right into this. So Lewis Hall has only played a grand total, I think, of 2 times for us this season, probably 1.5 if you want to count that half a game of football against Man City in the Carabao Cup, where him and Louis Miley were hooked at half time. And when he come and played for us, he looked like he was playing in midfield. And I couldn't quite get my head around that, really. And then I saw this article. I remember seeing this article when he signed. And I've gone back and refreshed my memory on this article. That Lewis Hall apparently said his preferred position is midfield. And he was quoted in saying, "I prefer to play in the middle of the park. I think I can be really effective there. But obviously, I play on the left-hand side quite a bit, and I'm more capable of doing a position or doing a job there, blah, blah, blah," something like that, So when we signed Lewis Hall, myself and I think pretty much most Newcastle United fans were buzzing because we thought, right, excellent. We finally got a left-back that can bomb on and become part of the attacking threat, just like Kieran Trippier does on the right-hand side. And we were all really excited to see Lewis Hall. I know he's only 19 years old, so people say, "No, he's only young. Don't put too much pressure on his shoulders." But he played about 11 or 12 times for Chelsea, against some really good competition as well, against Manchester City's and Liverpool's. And St James's Park, he come to play against us for our full starting 11, our top side at that particular time. And he was man of the match, to be fair, for Chelsea. He was up and down the park. He was spraying 50, 60-yard balls all over the shop. He just looked a proper player. Now, he's come to Newcastle and he can't kick his own arse. He can't get a sniff. And I don't know what is going on with this. I really don't. I don't know whether it's a multitude of things. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is a nice, calm and logical conspiracy theory, if you will, or theory, if you will, as to why Lewis Hall isn't playing. He's not fit. He's not match fit. He didn't really get much of a pre-season at Chelsea. He's come to Eddie Howe's Newcastle United, and we all know Eddie Howe's level of fitness and his expectations of fitness is a lot higher than a lot of other managers in the Premier League. So possibly the fitness that Lewis Hall had built up under Frank Lampard when he was at Chelsea before he got the loaf was not quite at the level of what Eddie Howe wanted to be, much like Anthony Gordon. So maybe he's putting Hall through his paces in terms of training and getting that intensity up, so he knows when he puts him in, he's able to keep up with the press and the intensity of the rest of the lads around him. That's the most logical explanation here. The next one is that for some reason, Eddie Howe can't displace Dan Burn from the start 11. I love Dan Burn, right? Before all the Dan Burn lovers and the Burnites, if you want to call them that, the Burnites or the burn. I don't know. I can't say burn victims. That's fucking terrible. So the people who love Dan Burn. Anyway, before you give me loads of shit in the comments, I love Dan Burn. I think he's great. I love his character. I love his energy. He's shouting balls all the time. He bleeds black, white, and all that kind of stuff. But the simple fact about Dan Burn is he gets done for pace. Certainly the last few games as well. In Dortmund, he got absolutely murdered for pace. Against Wolves, Neto just legged it past him, and it was really worrying. Then you look at the likes of Joe Linton has to drop in there and help him and defend with him, and even Gordon, when he's on that side, has to drop in and defend with him, and you lose them in the attacking threat because they're dropping so far deep. And yes, it's nice that they're covering back for their teammate, but because the full back doesn't have pace, they've got to have another man kind of watching his six, so to speak, in case the speedy winger blasts by him and goes. And that takes them out of the equation as well. If you had a wing back who had a bit of speed about him, who's able to track back and then break with speed and give it to the winger, then I don't think those players would drop as deep. So again, that's another reason as to why I can't understand why Burn isn't being alternated, at least, maybe out for a game or two, or, and then Hall comes in for a game or two at left back. It seems to be Matty Targett's ahead of Hall at left back, which I don't understand. Against Dortmund, when Burn, like he was struggling right towards the end of the game, it was Matty Targett that came on, not Lewis Hall. And I just don't understand what the hell's going on with this whole situation. I really don't. I mean, we've got Manchester United next Wednesday. I'll get my days right. Thank you in the comments for correcting me about that earlier. Wednesday coming. And this to me is an issue. It's a real issue right now because the squad is absolutely frazzled, right? Even this early in the season, they've played loads of football. They've played Premier League. They've played Carabao Cup. They've played Champions League football. They've got massively congested fixtures, 3-4 games in a week. And the lads look knackered. I mean, they looked absolutely dead on their arse against Wolves, especially Kieran Trippier and Dan Burn. The two of them look fucked. They really did. And Wolves were pulling outside with the pace that had on the side, and they were getting in behind us because the lads looked absolutely wiped out. Why on earth isn't Eddie Howe rotating the squad, and why isn't he giving Livramento and Hall an opportunity at fullback? Surely, if these two are the next level or the next kind of generation of fullbacks at the club, because the two fullbacks that we have, as good as both of them are, especially Kieran Trippier, they're on the wrong side of 30. Give these young lads a bit more game time. It can't just be Carabao Cup action. Surely you can play them in the Premier League, give them a little bit of a sniff. They could have played against Palace. They could have played against Wolves. These are the kind of games that you'd think Livramento and Hall could get a start in, and rest Burn and Trippier maybe for a midweek game or Champions League game or whatever it may be. But Eddie Howe doesn't seem to be doing that. He just seems to be Trippier, Burn every single game he possibly can, unless it's a Carabao Cup game. And I'm really, really concerned that they're going to burn out, pun intended, and they're going to get caught. And Trippier's passing was so wayward. Not just against Wolves, but against Dortmund too. And he looks leggy. He looks really tired. I definitely think the pair of them will get dropped against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup. But it's a huge question for Eddie Howe: is will he play Lewis Hall in the game against Manchester United on Wednesday? I don't know if he will. I think he might go for Matty Target. And the bigger question really here is, where does Lewis Hall play? I mean, the comment, so the title of the video may be a little bit misleading. Why is he being left out? It was a little bit of a left out, as in, is he a left back or is he a centre midfielder or is he a left winger? Where does he play? I don't know where he plays. When we signed Lewis Hall, I thought we had one of the most exciting young wing backs in the country. It could be England's left back, for years to come, in terms of in the next 4 or 5 years. But if the lads come and said to Eddie Howe, playing midfield, maybe he's completely, thrown that all out of sync, really. But I'd love to see Lewis Hall in at left back for the speed that he has, for the ability to get him down the park, the quality left peg that he's got whipping the ball in. There's so many times Gordon had the ball against Wolves and against Dortmund. He's not got the overlap. That overlap is needed to pull a Dortmund player out of the way to even give Gordon a chance to cut inside, or just to hit that overlap for a cross to come through. And if you've got a really good left winger with pace, skill, and a quality left peg, that gives you such more of an attacking threat, and everything doesn't have to go down the Trippier side, and we become too one-dimensional. I love Dan Burn a bit, but he looks absolutely fucking dead on his feet, and he needs a rest in the Premier League or even in the Champions League, in my opinion. But it's safer to rest him in the Premier League, where someone like Lewis Hall's got experience in the Premier League. So what on earth is going on with Lewis Hall? Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I being a bit hyperbolic and hysterical here? Is it just the case that the lad isn't fit? As I said, that's logical explanation number one. Or the other two is, is the lad come and said he's a midfielder, he's not playing left back? And if that's the case, are we even going to keep him after the loan deal? Who knows? But I want to see more of Lewis Hall, in the coming weeks and months ahead. The fixture list is piling up. So much football to play. We haven't even hit that busy Christmas period yet. We've already got 3 or 4 games a week to play. The squad is completely stretched to its maximum. Roll on January, because we've had a few more faces in there too. We've got loads of injuries in key areas. So yeah, I'd like to see some of the squad being rotated. I'd like to see some of these young, exciting players getting a chance in, like Livramento and certainly Lewis Hall. But again, let us know what you guys think about that in the comments below. We always appreciate it when you jump on and let us know. We always do our best to try and reply to you. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing if you like this kind of a thing. Smash a like as well, help the channel grow. And if you fancy being a member, it's only $1.99 a month, less than a pint of lager. Click the button underneath and we'll welcome you on board to this ever-growing, ever-more community. So we'll let you know what's happening in terms of the preview for the Manchester United game. I'm sure we'll be on to do that one soon, and a post-match review as well on Wednesday night. And I'm hoping that we'll see Lewis Hall at left back, and hopefully he has a cracking game as well, and maybe gives Eddie some food for thought moving forward. But have a great day wherever you are, everyone, and we'll catch you later. Cheers.